you know what? Everybody's experiencing it. It's not a myth. It's actually happening. And they fully admit it. Your energy costs are going up. Um, they announced it. Ameren customers in Illinois can expect to see utility bills that are 18 to 22% higher than normal on average, and Commonwealth Edison customers will see at least a 10 to 15% increase per month on their bills in Northern Illinois. But I encourage you to actually go get your own utility bill. Go find it. And, a lot of us pay our bills online now. So you're seeing what the total cost is when it's due, and you're paying it off. You're not actually seeing the metering details. And in one case, I had my husband pull our bills, and I said, look, I want to look at these. And our electricity supply charge between May 15th and June 16th was up 65%. Up 65%. And that's, not usage or anything. That's the actual charge. So they're going up. They're going up substantially. Well, guess what? Naperville has a big choice to make, though. Do they want to keep low-cost, reliable energy or not? And here to discuss that with me is Louis Halkias, and he is the chairman for the Naperville Public Utilities Advisory Board. And this week, before the Naperville City Council will be a decision on whether or not they want to stay in the Illinois Municipal Energy Agency or not. Do they want to turn out of that? And Naperville made a bold decision. Oh gosh, I don't know. Was it 2008 or maybe 2011? Lewis can fill us in. They made a bold decision to receive their power from the Prairie State Energy Campus, and actually from IMEA. And IMEA has more than just Prairie State. They have other sources of energy, but they decided to go into partnership with them. And now they have to make a decision on whether or not to renew that partnership. And this is a critical moment for Naperville residents. So listen up. You want reliable energy first, and then affordable energy. Louis, thanks so much for joining me on the program.
Jeannie, thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. And I hope the people of Naperville, it seems to be an issue that a lot of people are not aware of because they're doing their jobs, they're doing their regular life, and they expect and they trust their city. And I trust Naperville. I'm a Naperville resident for over 40 years. I'm a retired federal law enforcement officer for 32 years, and 22 of those 32 years as an agent, I worked with the Environmental Protection Agency. I was a special agent in charge, and I ended up being the acting director of the entire country. So I have a little idea of how to regulate electric municipalities, wastewater, and water, which is what Naperville has. As a result of that, I ended up volunteering to be on the Public Utility Advisory Board. And the mayor selected me, and the city council confirmed it. So that's how I got to where I'm at right now. Now, I have to say, because I've been told I have to say this, although I serve as the chairman of the Public Utility Advisory Board, the opinions that I'm going to express this evening on your show are my own. I do not represent the views of the PUAB, the city council, or the city of Naperville. The reason for that is that they have a process that they go through, and they have to follow that process. However, I have my personal experience. I have my ability to speak. And with my experience and with what being the chair of the PUAB gave me the opportunity to do is to get very deep into this issue and to find out what is actually the best thing for Naperville.
Yeah, so you guys have had a lot of discussions about this upcoming renewal with IMEA. And first of all, it was something like there's 32 municipalities in IMEA, and 28 of them have already said, sign me up again. We're staying in IMEA. We find this to be the best decision for our ratepayers and our residents. And so now it's Naperville, which you have told me is basically consumes about 1/3 of all of the power that IMEA collects and produces. And so you are the heavyweights in this decision, and you're So you've done your due diligence in this. So why don't you just walk us through the decision before the people of Naperville, and actually what are some of the most important factors to consider?
I will. And one of the things that you just said is very, very important, is telling, and also very telling. Out of 32 cities in the state of Illinois that are part of IMEA, 28 of them have re-signed up, have reviewed the same things we have, and have said this is what's good for their city. The most recent was Winnetka, and they voted, their city council voted unanimously for this. So it's not a close call with these other cities, and they recognize the benefit. Now, if I tell you some of the things, you're thinking, why are we even discussing this? Why isn't this not a done deal on this? Well, I'm not going to go into that at this point anyway. I'm going to give you and the listeners some facts just to have an idea. So since last February of 2025, the Public Utility Advisory Board had its first meeting, and I called in different organizations, including IMEA, and questioned them as to how they operate, why are we doing certain things the way they are, and they answered that. And then from that point, we continued with a special company that the city of Naperville hired to do this review, and Naperville asked this company, review all the facts and tell us what's the best thing for the city to do, which they did. And then we had some other individuals that are specialists in this industry review, and we asked them for information. And then I included the Naperville Nest Task Force to make sure everybody had their opportunity to express themselves and to be available for questions from the Public Utility Advisory Board, so that we could say, how does this compare to this, to make sure we're comparing apples to apples on this. So as we went through this situation and we're reviewing, we've had these public meetings that reviewed 15 hours of public testimony. They were long meetings, but they were complete meetings. And I feel a responsibility, coming from a special agent point of view, I know how to gather evidence. I know how to be objective because the fact this is what we have to do. And that was my career. And so I ran the PUAB the same way. And quality members, colleagues of the PUAB. So we reviewed all these things. And we came to the conclusion, and this is from February of this year through May, but in April, I had all these things reviewed. And then even after we did this, I continued. But in April, we reviewed everything and we discussed it. And I had everybody give their point of view. We voted on it. I called a vote. We voted on it, and we voted 4-3 to stay with IMEA because of the fact they gave us the most cost-effective power, more affordable than any of the other areas in this municipalities around this area, and gave us the cleanest burning coal or burning energy, pardon me, through coal energy, so that they're most cost-effective and the cleanest burning, the cleanest energy there is.
So it should but Louis, it should be a no-brainer then. So let's kind of cut to the chase here. It should be a no-brainer, but you're basically getting pushback from environmentalists who say that they want out of this contract simply because IMEA also uses Prairie State Energy campus coal. So they produce their coal there, they ship it, they put it up to the grid, and you guys are essentially buying that power, and they call that dirty, and they want out of it. So you've got these environmental wackos in, my term, not yours, these environmentalists in Naperville that don't want to be invested in coal. But when you look at it, and I think that the numbers speak for themselves, and I think that you should go through the numbers. How much per megawatt hour does it cost to produce coal versus the other types of power that you could purchase? And then we'll get into, if we have the time, I want to get into the fact that actually IMEA is looking at having a cleaner energy production overall than even the state of Illinois is able to achieve.
Well, IMEA is able to produce $30 per megawatt hour with coal. Solar, and this is coming from the company CES that Naperville hired to review all these things. Solar sources are $80 per megawatt hour. Wind is $85 megawatt hour. So per megawatt hour. So we're thinking, okay, and the other side keeps on saying solar and wind are going down the cost, but we're looking all around, not only here locally, but around the country, and solar and wind are going up. And we have an example in Spain and Portugal, for example, and other locations where they don't, those kind of sources of energy don't have a frequency, don't have the momentum to be able to continue things going if there's a little blurb. If you look at a solar farm and you have a meter that's showing you how much power the solar farm is making, and if a cloud goes over, you see the meter go down. Yeah. Now, of course, the solar farm doesn't work at nighttime. It doesn't work as much in the morning, and it doesn't work as much in the evening. So when it's dusk. So that these things cannot compare with fossil fuels. And again, Prairie State is one of not only the cleanest in the state, is one of the cleanest coal-fired plants, not only in the United States, but the world. This was a electric company that was put together as an experiment, and they spent $1 billion on their scrubbers in that facility. $1 billion.
Yep.
So that when you look at what they scrub out of their chimney is basically carbon dioxide that comes out of your mouth. Yeah. Yes, there are some trace amounts of other things because it's a factory, you know, and they're putting things out. But there's nothing that compares. And it's really a shame. And the people of Naperville right now are protected from the price increases from Commonwealth Edison. They just had this past month an increase of 11%. And when you look at their prices, and you see them, but if you live in Naperville, we were insulated from that. And we do not have any impact. We're not impacted at all by what's happening around us in Commonwealth Edison. And we're protected. And what's happening with the source of our power coming down from Prairie State and Trimble County in Kentucky, those two places are some of the others. But IMEA is also showing that they can go into different technology and use solar farms. However, when they do that, it costs more money than the coal that we control and with the technology that makes it clean coal. So it doesn't make sense not to do what we're doing and to continue doing what we're doing. However, unfortunately,
well, here's the bottom line, though. If you guys could scrap your requirement. You're going to be in there anyway for 10 more years because the agreement goes through 2035. Right. At that point, the bonds are paid off, and actually your power costs go down. You say that it goes down to $23 per megawatt hour. That's really cheap, and because you've paid off the bonds. So if you get rid of this, it's like paying off your mortgage and throwing away the keys and not taking any of the equity whatsoever out of your house. So this would be a terrible decision for you to walk away from IMEA. Plus, it'd be terrible anyway for the environment. That plant is not closing. Prairie State is not going to close. They're not going to close it. Somebody else is going to purchase that power. It just won't be from Naperville, and Naperville won't reap the rewards of a lower cost supplier. And not to mention, as you said, they are branching out into other areas of nuclear and solar power as well. So overall, you're going to have a mix in there anyway if people quote unquote want clean power. So I think these are really important facts. My favorite one though is that Naperville in 2021 put together solar panels on 4.5 acres that were supposed to produce power for 182 homes, and the cost of that The cost of that is $75 per megawatt hour, far, far exceeding the price that you pay for everybody else is paid for their power on the grid. I mean, they have their own example in their own area where they put in their own solar panel, and it's not cost effective.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
No, it's unbelievable. So Naperville started receiving electricity from IMEA and Prairie State in 2011, and from that time we've been paying, and we've made payments as you would in your home, as you just said. And so for us to walk away at this point in 2025 from any ownership, by the time, of course, we have 10 more years on our contract with them. And when we're done at 2035, we will have paid off our house, which is the cost of building that electric power plant, and we're just going to walk away from it.
Yep.
And we're not going, even though we've paid for all of that. So
yep.
Again,
so hey, I've got to kind of jump here. So if you could just tell residents or tell people who are listening to this what they can do to make sure that the city council votes the right way on this particular issue.
So the city council, some of the people are interested, 3 of them, and these are 3 that were on the city council before. And everybody else does not seem to be interested. I have called some of them, and they haven't called me back, which is peculiar because the city council established the PUAB to be the subject matter experts for them on these issues. However, they don't want to hear this, and they're saying they need more time to be able to have the public speak. This is a complex issue. You just had experts respond to this and research it and give you the best information possible. But they're not, we hope. And so the only way you can make a difference in the people of Naperville, and you don't want your prices to go up 30%, because right now, Commonwealth Edison is 30% more expensive than Naperville Electric on this. The way to do it is you have to send an email or call or a letter, but send an email right now and let them know you want IMEA to be continued. You have to do that. I'm going to be speaking in front of the city council this coming Tuesday, and any kind of support, because I feel I'm a servant for the city. That's what we do. I don't make any money on this. This is a responsibility. I volunteered, and so did the other people on the PUAB. We volunteer to do the best we can for the city of Naperville, and I believe we have from our experience.
Okay, he's Louis Halkias, and I really appreciate your efforts here. Naperville residents, get out to your city council meeting on Tuesday at 7 p.m.